Hello, time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is Ask a Philosopher, Answers to Your Most Important and Most Unexpected Questions by Ian Olasov, published by Thomas Dunn Books in 2020. It's 280 pages. Ian Olasov is a philosopher, professor of philosophy at the City University of New York. But what makes him more unusual than your typical philosophy professor is he's trying to make philosophy more accessible to everyday people. And so he sets up an Ask a Philosopher booth, kind of like this one, at public events throughout New York City from time to time. So there's this booth, and it has a big sign that says Ask a Philosopher, and you can go up there and ask any philosophical question, and he will try to answer. And what this book contains is a summary of some of the most common questions he's been asked at his Ask a Philosopher booth, along with some of the more unusual ones. And the more common ones are usually the kind of standard, kind of deep, controversial questions that you'd expect from a philosopher, someone interested in philosophy. Do we have free will or not? What's the meaning of life? And by the way, the answer is not 42. Does God exist? Is time travel possible? Things like that. But he also gets asked some oddball questions, often from kids, and he includes a few of those in this list as well. One of them is, can ketchup be considered a smoothie? Another one is, if you build a sculpture of a dragonfly, but everyone thinks it's a bee, is it a dragonfly sculpture or a bee sculpture? Which one? You intended it to be a dragonfly, but everyone thinks it's a bee. Well, which one is it? And probably the most unusual or unexpected question that he got asked once was, since Superman gets his power from the sun, how come he doesn't have a suntan? And I have to admit, I'd never thought of that. There's a lot of things in Superman that don't make any sense. But that was one I never thought of. Why doesn't Superman have a tan if he gets his power from the sun? Some of the answers that he comes up with are probably not going to make anybody very happy because he equivalates on some of them. For example, one of the questions he's asked is, should I give money to homeless people or not? And he basically argues both sides. He essentially says, sometimes you should and sometimes you shouldn't. And that's kind of the way I feel about it, actually. Usually I don't give money to homeless people. I donate money every month to homeless shelters and food banks, things like that. So if you're in need, you can go get food and help there because I'm helping. But every once in a while, if I'm in the mood, I'll hand some homeless person a few bucks because, you are giving money directly to somebody. And you don't know if they're actually going to buy food with it or booze or drugs or what. So anyway, he answers kind of both sides of that. And he does that on a number of these issues. So if you have strong opinions about them, you're probably going to disagree with them on some of these things. The whole thing is kind of a lightweight, or not lightweight, but lighthearted approach. He's trying to be funny. He does mention standard philosophers like Plato and Friedrich Nietzsche and Karl Marx and people like that. But he also brings in more modern, recent philosophers and their opinions on various things. And so if you're interested in the subject of philosophy, and you want you don't want to get bogged down in the details of theories and so forth. This is a kind of a fun book to kind of raise your interest in philosophy, and a lot of the questions he brings answers to will make you think, although you may not agree with some of his answers. The book is Ask a Philosopher. The author is Ian Olasov. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.